All right, I finally unmuted myself. Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing? So good to see everybody. Welcome to today's Lunchtime Learning Blast for Monday, June 7th. My name is Pete. I work for the Personnel Board of Jefferson County here at the beautiful 2121 building in downtown Birmingham. If you're watching us live on Facebook, hopefully you're getting the audio now. Feel free to leave us a chat, leave us a note in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. And this was not going to be very long today, y'all. I'm telling you, a lot of times we would try and share a lot of helpful information. And I just have been in some bad email ways, some bad email funk the past couple of weeks when I've seen some things come by my desk. I've seen some things come through, both personal and professional. And I thought maybe we all need a refresher. And again, these are not just my thoughts. My thoughts align with this. But a lot of this also aligns up with just general business writing practices and general ways to just be professional in your emails. So I thought I'd just share what I thought were 5 email tips to help you improve communication in the workplace and you know, in your personal emails as well. Real quick, this is not about marketing. So this is not about how to get clicks on your email, or if you're selling something, how to make sure that you have snazzy titles and keywords and all that. That's if you're an entrepreneur looking for that, or from a sales perspective, that's a whole different type of learning. Today, it's basically just about, hey, how to make sure that you look professional and don't come across like an idiot in email so that you don't tick anybody off as you go. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Number one, the first thing you have to think about, y'all, is email best? Does what you want to share even deserve an email? We have so many other ways to communicate these days. We've got text messaging, and we've got Slack, and you've got perhaps using Microsoft Teams or things like that. There's all types of ways that you can communicate. And a lot of us, depending on your age or generation, a lot of us just default to email, especially some people who are, you know, in my generation. Email was cool. Email came out. I know how to email, and we tend to use that a lot. But again, it does need to be the default for everything. For example, my buddy Greg had a question. He works on the 9th floor, and he had a question about a training class we're doing this Friday. So he pops up about 2 hours ago and said, hey, just wanted to run a couple things by you. Question number 1 is this. Question number 2 is this. And then he sort of wrapped it up. I said, great. So he said, thanks. He goes, I wanted to stand up and work my legs a little bit, but also I didn't want to send an email. And I was like, doggone it all, genius, because again, emails go back and forth, and you've got to follow up, and then it's got an email chain. And, you know, depending on what study you see, some of the average surveys say that the average person in a workplace gets 125 emails per day. Now, are you getting 125 emails, more or less? But you don't want to have an email chain going back and forth. So can you make a phone call? Can you get up and walk to somebody's office to ask the question? Does it need an immediate response? Because email is not good for immediate responses. Most email etiquette is I'll return an email within 24 to 48 hours. So if it's urgent, you know, is email the best? But if you decide that it is, then let's go ahead and talk about a few other things. Number 1 is the subject line. Y'all, we've got to get this right. We've got to get this right. You know, if you've got a question about certain dates of training or things like that, you shouldn't type in the subject line dates or question or just for you. With all these spam things coming out these days, a lot of times those subjects are going to be red flags to some people, and they're going to go, oh, it just says question for you. I'm not going to open that. So again, in the subject line, be as specific as you possibly can. Question about training dates for the following class. Put that in there. Information about our new dress code policy. Does it take longer to do these things? Absolutely. However, the time you put it at the front will minimize, you know, all the return emails, and it may also guarantee the person opens it. Don't forget, your worst ever subject line is FYI. FYI. And then put it whatever you want in the body of the email. That's a horrible, horrible subject line, y'all. Do not do that. But again, this is almost like where the rubber meets the road. And think about a photographer. You see this picture here? They're always thinking about framing their subject. making the best possible picture is all about getting the subject where you want. The same thing holds true with us, with our subject line of the email. That's going to determine whether they open your email or not. Everything can't be marked urgent. Everything can't be marked for your review. Everything can't be marked, please respond. So again, use those when they're important, but you can't use them all the time. Don't even get me started on read receipts. We're not covering that today, but you all know how we feel about that, or how I feel. I feel if you ask me for a read receipt, it means you don't trust me or you don't know how to turn that button off. But that's another issue. So, all right. So is email best? The subject line number 3, and this is me. You may not find this in a lot of email trainings. I think putting the person's name in the body of the email is going to increase the chance that they're going to respond to you. Now, there's some caveats to that, but let me say this. If I'm sending an email to Greg or Kim or Michael or somebody on my team, 99 times out of 100, I'm going to try to start it with this. Greg, hope you had a good weekend. Have a question for you. How's that project coming? Blah, 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 whatever it might be. You know, Michael, hey, I've got a quick update for you. Hey, team, or whatever it may be. If you just start with just the data in email, if you just jump right in and go, be advised, dress code policy is now in place. Be advised, everybody has to work on Sunday, without a greeting or a salutation or a hi team or something like that. Now, it has to be genuine. For me, if I say, hey, Greg, hope you had a great weekend, I really mean, hi, Greg, hope you had a great weekend, or hi, Greg, hope all is well with you. I mean those things. Now, when you get into email chains back and forth, does that mean that you have to use their name every time? Greg, I agree with you, but what's the final cost? Greg writes, Pete, the final cost is $17. Then I reply, Greg, thank you. Do I have to write Greg every single time? I don't know. If we're going back and forth like that, I think that rule goes out the window. In addition, I think if we're on our phones, oh, there it is. A lot of these rules may go out the window because, again, we're doing it from our phone and trying to be as quick and efficient as possible. But as a general rule, y'all, when you email people, please try and use a greeting and make it look a little bit more professional. All right, number 4, I kind of lumped a bunch of stuff in here, but this is what I'm seeing recently: tone and text and style and formatting and all of that stuff. What are you writing in an email? Is it a professional email? Is it a personal email? We've heard over and over again that communication is the #1 issue in organizations. And a lot of times it's because you can't read tone in emails. I can't tell if you're happy. I can't tell if you're angry. Just because you put LOL at the end of a sentence doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt my feelings, or that just doesn't mean that it doesn't come across. Some reason we feel like putting LOL means we can be passive aggressive. We can type whatever we want. Hey, sure glad you got to work today on time, LOL. Well, I don't know what that means. Are you dogging me? Are you asking me a question? What are you doing? So the tone that you want to take, if it's going up to your supervisor or a director or a vice president, needs to be very formal. If it's just back and forth, it doesn't have to be. How about the use of fonts? Some people like to use a 10-point font in email. That may be appropriate, and I use 12. Some people use 14, but how big and how many colors do you want to use, and how much italics, and what needs to stand out and what needs to be bolded, and run on big paragraphs that have like 9 sentences in them. I'm not going to read that. I mean, my eyes are hurting from this long sentence. So again, just everything that you do in an email, short, quick, concise. Everybody's information is, everybody's time is valuable, I should say. Now, something I do, if it's very, very important and I've got to reach everybody on my team with, let's say, meeting minutes from a team leader meeting, I will start my email with, hey team, just came out of a leadership team meeting. Be advised, this is going to be a long email. Be prepared, or something like that. But everything in here is important. This is about to be a long email, but you'll be responsible for knowing all this information. Setting that up front, I think, helps me, because a lot of people, when they see long emails, they may just put it aside, forget to read it, something like that. So again, if you've got a lot to put in there, tone, text, style, really good. Hey, Kim, glad you're watching today. Got a few folks watching today on a live, Facebook Live. So glad y'all are checking in. And the last one, y'all, is kind of a simple one. It's your signature. It's your email signature. Now, hopefully, if you work in an organization, a corporate environment, they've given you a template. They've given you a template with your name, your logo, and all of that. The question becomes, what other stuff do you put in there? I would be very hesitant in today's professional world to put anything in your email, professional email, that's not name, email, phone number. This is, if you get this illegally, please destroy whatever your legal department tells you to put on there. Things like Roll Tide, War Eagle, Go Gators, be advised, dance like no one's watching, living free every day, hashtag Pete Blank, hashtag living free, you know, all Isaiah 55:8, you know, whatever. Yes, that may be part of who you are, but in today's day and age, if you want everybody to read and understand and connect with you, you might be possibly putting out some barriers with some Bible verses, or maybe put a quote by Abraham Lincoln. Some people don't like Abraham Lincoln. Maybe you put Roll Tide or War Eagle, or people don't like those teams, or maybe they don't follow sports, or whatever it may be. So on your personal email, it's your personal email, knock yourself out. But again, in the professional world, whether you work for a company or a small business or entrepreneur, keep your signature clean. Name, email, phone number, perhaps address, depending on how you want to do that, you know, how they can contact you. Anything above and beyond that, do at your own risk. Do at your own risk, because it may come back to bite you. I told you today was going to be quick and dirty, but it's just a reminder. All of us use email all the time. We all do these things. We all know these things, but it's just good to take a second and just you know, remind yourself. Number one, does this have to be an email? Does it have to be an email? Can I walk? Can I call? Can I text? What can I do differently? Number two, subject line, very descriptive so that you know exactly what it is. And, oh, one more thing that I didn't mention. If you're doing one conversation chain and the conversation shifts, you know, you can go up, instead of it saying re, if the whole topic is changed from training classes to the dress code, don't be afraid to change the subject to dress code, because people may go, I've already read everything about this. I don't need all these follow-ups. Well, we've changed topics now, but we're still doing reply all. Don't get me started on that. But again, your subject line, super important. Number three, your greeting. Use the person's name when possible. I think it helps create those relationships. Number four, text, tone, style, formal, informal, size of your font, size of your bullets, small paragraphs, lots of information. What are you going to do? Be very cognizant of how you're doing this. And number five, your email signature for a professional email is just that, professional, and how to contact you. I hope this helped today. I hope it gave you just a bit of a refresher on here. Oh, Dale says to acknowledge receipt of an email. Let the sender know. Yeah, I like that as well, because again, read receipt, I'm not a fan of, because it shows that you don't trust me. But if somebody has given you an action item in an email, if somebody says, please let me know that you've gotten this, if somebody says, please respond by a certain date, you know, a lot of people work in public safety and police. They'll always respond to emails with received. That's all that they'll type in there. But it's their way of saying that, you know, I confirm that I've gotten this. So again, we never know if it went through. We never know what happened. So again, some emails are informational, but some need action. So yeah, great point. Great point, Dale. Thanks. A couple quick reminders moving forward. We've got these things called trainer talks. Trainer talks. These are live with myself and two other trainers at the personnel board. This month, coming up this Thursday, we've got customer service tips for government employees. Anybody can join, because customer service tips are for everybody. But specifically in our world, we're going to do a live 30 to 40-minute chat where we'll take your questions on Facebook Live. We'll answer them. We'll talk about our thoughts on how to make sure we're putting customer service and the customer experience in government. And then looking ahead on the 22nd, which is a Tuesday, we're going to talk about performance management, not just performance appraisals, not just the annual review. If you don't know what this topic of performance management is, it's how do you manage the performance of your employees through coaching and feedback and discipline and the annual review. So that's going to be exciting coming up. And boy, we've got some great learning blasts this month. They just pop up on Facebook. They'll stay on there. You can watch them at your own time. We'll put them on our website for the personnel board as well. Look at this, 7 ways to break destructive patterns, 7 traits of an engaged leader, how to reach your full potential. I need this one, 10 dangers of talkative leaders. Good thing I'm not leading that. I'm probably attending that one. I think my team put that together for me, so I'll watch. So that's something. One more thing, Kim says, oh, backgrounds on the emails. Yeah, that's very 2000. That's very 2000. Look at all the neat little horses and things as my wallpaper. Yeah, we definitely don't want to do that. Thanks for joining us today, y'all. Send us your tips in the comments if you watch this later. Let's all get better at email. Have a fantastic Monday, a great rest of the week, and we'll see you all again real soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.